brushes should you use to blend out your concealer? Well, it depends on the effect that you're going for. Now, this is a fluffier brush, something that has a lot more movement. On this side, I'm going to show you that if I want something that's a little more sheer, a little more laid back, a little more brunch, a little less high glam, maybe I'll go for something like this to really stretch that product, make it go very far, and also not have such a concentrated lift. Now, this is a dramatization. You wouldn't necessarily put a brightening concealer all over here unless you were trying to make this area look bigger. That is personal preference, but I'm showing you the technique. So let's focus. Now I'm taking that and I'm stretching the product, and it's also shearing the product out, right? So think of like a blender. This is kind of like putting your concealer in a NutriBullet and blasting it so it's not super concentrated and you get a lot more coverage. Now after that, maybe I would want to take a more dense brush and just, get my seams. We always talk about melting the seams, super important around these parts. So you have this, it's still glam, but it's a little relaxed. Alternatively, let's respray. This one's MAC Fix Plus. We'll go on the other side and we will tap and we'll do the stippling motion. Now, these are two different glam personalities. And the most important thing I like to stress is you have to know which glam personality you are or which one you're trying to embody that day. It also depends on the event. Maybe if you're going to something downtown, it's a little more casual, maybe you don't want to step in with the high glam blend, but maybe you do because that's just who you are. No judgment here. I'm just giving you the tools. So I go ahead, I blend, I stipple, stipple, and I'm not really moving the product in the same way. You can even see when I look straight forward. This is a little softer. I could even color correct there or color neutralize to really lift that a little bit more. But here you're really seeing that like lift and brightening, really more concentrated because of the brush choice. Now, just in case you're wondering, this one's Danessa Myricks. This is the Yummy Face 3.0, and then this is the Spectrum KJH 08. I think in my own journey in learning about makeup, I used to feel like I had to do one thing, like I'm this person, right? Or I'm that person. And also when you start finding yourself in different places and spaces, you can feel sometimes maybe a little judged if you go to this style of event and you go to this, you wear this, you might feel a little judged. And if you go to this style event and you show up a little more relaxed, you also might feel a little judged. So you have to really find what do you want to feel that day and then take the technique that you need to be equipped with that day. I know people are always like, you don't need makeup. It's not about need. It's about equipping ourselves to feel good in a world that is constantly trying to police and micromanage and judge and criticize. And it's like, at the very least, we can have things we love and enjoy and know that we came out and presented the way we wanted to present. Maybe it's a tinted moisturizer for you. That's on you. I don't know why you're still watching if that's true. But anyway, for the chin, same deal. If I want to really get that projection, again, we talked about using filler in the areas of using a brightening concealer like a filler, in the sense that you would focus in those placements. The idea being whatever you want to bring forward, you put that brightening concealer. So let's say here, without me blending it, you can see there's an illusion of projection there because it's brightening. Obviously, we don't want to leave it like that. But what I would do, I don't have any here, but I have a concealer. I would take like my complexion and I would swirl my little brush, get my little palette, and just make sure we don't have too much product. And obviously you can use less, but if I use too little or anything like that, there's a chance you won't even see the technique because it will be blending in too much, and that's not helpful to anyone. So then I'm just taking that skin tone concealer, I'm going along this area very lightly, and I'm kind of glazing it over that chin. This is still comparatively brighter than like my forehead, for example, or like down here, but it's softened. We blended out the seams. This is like your spackle. You're really building it. You're not moving it too much. You're getting the maximum coverage that you can get without looking cakey, because you can see both sides are beautiful and have a radiance to them. Neither one of them looks heavy, but we are definitely getting more lift high glam coverage with this technique. This is Danessa Myricks Yummy Face 3.0. I don't know if I mentioned that. And this is Spectrum KJH number 8, in case you're curious. And these are two brands that I love and two women I love. And at the same time, when I get questions about brushes, I'm always saying, yes, support these brands. These are amazing women-owned brands and pro-owned brands. And also to advance the way you think about makeup in general, think about the type of brush it is, because then if you're in a pinch, you can always figure it out, right? So this is a fluffy brush with a lot of movement, and this is an angled brush, but the most important thing about the brush is how dense it is. It has less movement. So this is really going to pack things on, and this is really going to kind of disperse and shear things out, right? So you're going to get a lighter coverage, you're going to get a more concentrated coverage. Neither one is wrong. It really just depends on what you want to get out of it. At the end, always though, I would like to take my complexion product, whatever the concealer is, okay, that fell on the floor, and that fell on the floor, or foundation, and I'll just go and blend my seams. We're just going to use whatever's left in the brush. We don't want seams. Even after you finish melting your products and it looks like, okay, that looks pretty good, always go back and melt. Always go back and melt. Think of yourself like a seamstress of skin. You don't want to have unfinished seams just kind of calling you out, okay? So think about that. Figure out which glam mood you're in or which glam type you are. You might be one or the other. You might be both depending on the day, or you might be both depending on the event. It's up to you. And what I want to do is equip you with the tools, techniques, and mindset and just way of really thinking like a makeup artist to do what you want when you want and just have that freedom of expression. So pick a technique or try both and let me know how it goes.